so then we can request devotees to come one by one. We are at page 220. Okay. Okay. So first is Vijay Mataji. Okay, Vijay Mataji. Just Ronnie Prabhu, can you allow me to do screen sharing? Okay. So
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Take the minute. So we were in 220.
That evening. यहीं से शुरू करना है ना?
हाँ माता जी एक मिनट, क्योंकि वो पहले का जो कंटेक्स्ट है ना वो याद नहीं रहेगा, तो यहाँ से बोलिए माता जी. Then one night.
अच्छा जी. Then one night Srila Prabhupada dreamed that a Ramanuja Kaviraj an Ayurvedic doctor from the Ramajna Sampradaya had made Makar Dhwaj for him. We all felt that it was an indication that if Prabhupada would take that medicine, he would be cured. So Tamal Krishna Maharaj told me to look around and try to find one. The first place I went was Shri Raghunatha temple, the seat of Ramanuja Sampradaya in Vrindavan. But no one there knew of a Kaviraj. Then I went looking at different Ramanuja ashrams. Finally, I found a sadhu who claimed that he was adept in the art of preparing Ayurvedic medicine and could make Makar Dhwaj. It would cost 4,000 rupees. He said about $500. It was a lot, but when I reported my finding to Tamal Krishna Maharaj, he suggested that Bhagwan Das go with me to negotiate. That evening, Bhagwan and I went to meet the sadhu. Bhagwan spoke to him in English and I translated back and forth between English and Hindi. After some discussion, Bhagwan told me that he thought the sadhu was a fake. He was trying to cheat us. When Bhagwan, Tamal Krishna and I met, Maharaj suggested that I go to Shri Rangam in Tamil Nadu, South India, the seat of the Ramanuja Vaishnava, and find a good Ayurvedic doctor to come to Vrindavan and make the Makkar Dhwaj for Srila Prabhupada. I liked the idea and felt confident that we would find a good Kaviraj there. The next morning, Tamal Krishna Maharaj told Srila Prabhupada about our inability to find a Ramanuja Kaviraj in Vrindavan and his idea to send me to Shri Rangam, but Prabhupada did not like the idea. You don't want Bhakti Charu to leave you now? Maharaj asked. You want him to be with you? Prabhupada nodded his head and said yes. Still, we did not give up the search, and finally, Abhiram Prabhu found an Ayurvedic doctor in Delhi who prepared Makar Dhwaj. So he purchased it and brought it to Vrindavan. It was a big event. Devotees gathered around Srila Prabhupada's bed and Tamal Krishna Maharaj gave the medicine to Prabhupada in a spoon made of pure gold, which one of his American disciples, Vishwa Prabhu, had given him, but which had never been used. The reddish brown pill was pulverized and mixed with honey. Srila Prabhupada took the mixture and joked, will the medicine have special effect if I take it from a pure gold spoon? Everyone was excited with new hope of Srila Prabhupada's recovery after taking the medicine. However, Prabhupada started to feel so bad that he decided not to take any more. That evening, a Bengali devotee from another mutt in Vrindavan came to ask Srila Prabhupada for a donation for a temple he was building. Prabhupada sanctioned 10,000 rupees for the project. He had known the devotee from the Vrindavan from before he had gone to the west and asked about some other devotees he had known. Speaking in Bengali, Srila Prabhupada then said that he had been feeling terrible, as if he had been given poison. Although many devotees were standing around, I was the only one who could understand the conversation. I was shocked to hear what Prabhupada had said and told Tamal Krishna Maharaj, who shared my reaction. After the Bengali devotee left, the devotee got together and I told them in detail what Prabhupada had said. Tamal Krishna Maharaj, followed by several senior devotees, went right to him and asked, Srila Prabhupada, do you feel that you have been given poison? No, Srila Prabhupada replied, not that I have been poisoned. I am just speaking like that. He had simply been trying to express how bad he had been feeling.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you so much. Hare Krishna. Okay, next we have Chandan Paul Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Abhiram Das, Adhidharana Das, the president of the Calcutta temple, had heard about Srila Prabhupada's dream and about our search for a Ramanuja Kaviraj who could make him Makaradhwaj. Like us, he believed that Prabhupada would be cured if he took the medicine with the help of an influential life member. He found an Ayurvedic doctor from the Ramanuja Sampradaya whom he thought could be the right person to prepare it. 2 days later, Adhidharana arrived with the Kaviraj, Damodar Prasad Shastri, a pleasant, middle-aged gentleman from Rajasthan. The doctor felt Srila Prabhupada's pulse for some time, perhaps 5 minutes, while talking to him casually. Pressing Prabhupada's feet and hands, which were quite swollen, he asked about his pain and said that his ailment was due to the malfunctioning of his kidneys. Tamal Krishna Maharaj said that the doctor in London had come to the same conclusion. Maharaj Damodar Prasad and I went to the office to discuss Srila Prabhupada's health and what needed to be done. Damodar Prasad did not speak English, so I translated. He told us that Prabhupada's condition was quite serious, further aggravated by his weakness. He was not able to fight off or rectify his ailment. He mentioned that the kidneys played a crucial role. They filtered the blood that supplied energy to the body and, according to Ayurveda, diverted the urine to be excreted. Therefore, when the kidneys malfunctioned, the impurities did not get filtered but remained in the blood, causing swelling of the feet and hands. I told him that Vanamali Kaviraj had also said that Srila Prabhupada's ailment was due to the malfunctioning of his kidneys and had given him some medicines, 2 types of salt, one white and one pink, to be mixed with the extracts of Punarnabha and Patharkuchi leaves. Damodar Prasad agreed that the extracts were appropriate and asked whether we were continuing with them. I related how Vanamali Kaviraj had treated Srila Prabhupada 4 months before, how Prabhupada's health had improved and how he had decided to go to the West, and then how his condition had deteriorated. When Prabhupada had returned to Vrindavan, Vanamali Kaviraj had resumed the treatment, but he had stopped when he saw that his medicines were not working. Damodar Prasad listened carefully without comment. Then he said that he would prepare something to give to Prabhupada. Although he had been brought to Vrindavan to prepare the Makaradhwaj, he didn't mention it, but prepared several other kinds of medicine instead. He seemed confident of curing Prabhupada, but when he spoke to us, he expressed serious concern. Adhidharana was staying in the same room in the guest house with Damodar Prasad. And sometimes he would observe the Kaviraj sitting up in his bed in the middle of the night. When Adhidharana asked if something was troubling him, Damodar Prasad told him that he was worried about Prabhupada's condition and was considering what to do. When he was speaking with Srila Prabhupada, Damodar Prasad assured him that he would cure him. But Prabhupada responded that, Prabhu, could you scroll up? So, that medicine could not counteract the laws of material nature, birth, death, old age, and disease. I told Damodar Prasad about what Srila Prabhupada had said about feeling like he had been poisoned, but he brushed that aside. When someone feels pain or discomfort, he said, he may say something like that, I've been poisoned. Don't worry about that. Srila Prabhupada is a pure devotee of Krishna. By Krishna's mercy, he also has inconceivable potency. These are all his pastimes. I told him about how Vanamali Kaviraj had considered giving Prabhupada Makaradhwaj, but had wanted to wait until Prabhupada's condition had improved and until winter, when the cold weather would help him process the strong medicine. I also told him about the Makaradhwaj. I also told him about the Makaradhwaj that had been sent by the doctor in Delhi, and how sick it had made Prabhupada. Damodar Prasad thought for a minute and said, Makaradhwaj is like nectar, but it's very strong. It is a tonic. Therefore, the body must be able to absorb it. To give the medicine without even seeing the patient's condition was not right. Whoever gave it like that made a mistake. Besides that, it is prepared from mercury. So if mercury is not cured properly, its effect can be quite harmful. I began to see what a big mistake had been made. What can be done now? I asked. I'm trying my best, he said. Although Damodar Prasad tried to console me, a terrible weight remained in my heart. I told Tamal Krishna Maharaj, I told Tamal Krishna Maharaj about the conversation, and also about how Vanamali Kaviraj had not wanted to give Makaradhwaj to Srila Prabhupada when he was treating him. I expressed my concern about how Prabhupada's health condition was much weaker. He would not be able to absorb such a powerful medicine. But Tamal Krishna Maharaj reminded me that it was Srila Prabhupada after his dream who had wanted to take it. Damodar Prasad.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. We have many hands today. So
sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. Yes, Neha Jindal Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Damodar Prasad was getting messages urging him to return to Calcutta. His other patients were in need of his treatment, but he was determined to stay on and treat Srila Prabhupada, saying that a personality like Srila Prabhupada should stay for the benefit of the whole world. Damodar Prasad felt that by going to Calcutta, he might save one or two people, but that a personality like Srila Prabhupada could save millions of embodied souls from their suffering condition. One day, while feeling Srila Prabhupada's pulse, Damodar Prasad said, Swamiji, I'm convinced that this is all your pastime. Just a while ago, when I felt your pulse, the beat seemed like that of a dying man, but now it is strong and steady like that of a young man. He could see that his medicines were having their effect. Srila Prabhupada was not eating, and for some time he did not evacuate, but the medicine had started to clean his stomach. That was important, Damodar Prasad told us. Otherwise, Prabhupada's body would be flooded with toxins. He suggested that we do not give Prabhupada any solid food, only diluted milk. So Prabhupada started to take that regularly, and we again had hope for his recovery. When Jayapataka Maharaj arrived from Mayapur one day, Srila Prabhupada wanted to hear about Mayapur and see him immediately. To Prabhupada's delight, Maharaj reported that everything was going on nicely. Although they had only two books in Bengali, Gita Gyan and Bhagavaner Katha, they had distributed 40,000 books the previous month. When Maharaj told Srila Prabhupada that some of the landowners with property adjoining ours were willing to sell their land, Prabhupada asked him to buy 2 acres right away. He would forward the money. Prabhupada also instructed Maharaj to develop nice relationships with Prabhupada's god brothers there, to build a Nath Mandira, large hall, at the temple at the Yog Pit. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's birthplace and also at his godbrother Srila Sridhara Maharaj temple. Jayapataka Swami told him about the devotees' desire to start construction on a new temple in Mayapur. The original plan to build a temple 250 feet high was a practical one, and it could have been accomplished with $15 million. But the architect Surabhi Swami was increasing the weight by 50 feet every day. The cost was going up to $25 million for each 50 feet. And now his design was for 400 feet and the cost was $90 million. Jayapataka Swami expressed his desire to complete the temple during Srila Prabhupada's manifest presence. At that, Srila Prabhupada just smiled and said, "It is now very brief. At any moment I can." Maharaj's voice became faint with emotion. "We are all praying that Krishna will give you your strength back," he said. "We are a bunch of neophyte devotees. What can we do? What ability do we have? Without your inspiration, association, without your guidance, we won't be able to do anything. It will be impossible for us to do anything."
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare
Thank you so
Krishna,
much.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Okay, next we have Ronnie Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. One afternoon, Loknath Maharaj, whose regular program was Padayatra, walking and riding a bullock cart village to village across the country, was telling Srila Prabhupada about his trip to Badrinath up in the Himalayas. After visiting the Badri Narayan temple, he had gone to Srila Vyasdev's cave, where he had offered Srila Prabhupada's English translation of Srimad Bhagavatam, and then he had gone on to the place where Bhim, the second of the five Pandav brothers, had left his body during their Mahaprasthan final journey. When Yudhishthir Maharaj had learned of Krishna's departure, he had decided to leave this world by walking towards the Himalayas without eating, drinking, or sleeping, and his brothers and Draupadi followed. The first one to fall had been Draupadi, followed by Sahadev, Nakul, and Arjun. Bhim had left his body high in the Himalayas near Badrinath. Hearing of Loknath Maharaj's pilgrimage, Srila Prabhupada asked him if he could organize a bullock cart parikrama, circumambulation of Vrindavan for him. Loknath Maharaj was excited by the idea and assured him that it would not be difficult. The devotees shared Maharaj's excitement, but those of us who had been serving Srila Prabhupada closely and were more intimately aware of his condition, Tamal Krishna Maharaj, Bhavananda Maharaj, Upendra, and I, were concerned that he was not fit for such a venture. The roads were rough and in disrepair, and we knew that he was in no shape to undertake such an arduous journey on a bullock cart. Tamal Krishna Maharaj and Bhavananda Maharaj tried to persuade Srila Prabhupada not to go when his body was so weak. Prabhupada agreed to reduce the parikrama to just Govardhan, but he did not give up the idea altogether. Not fully understanding the gravity of the situation, the devotees greeted the proposal with unbridled enthusiasm. They were joyful both at the thought that Prabhupada was healthy enough to go on the parikrama and that they could join him. Two bullocks were arranged and were standing along with the cart on the road by the gate in front of Prabhupada's house. The atmosphere of the temple was vibrant. Some devotees were thinking that the parikrama might produce a miracle and Prabhupada would be cured. So many senior devotees were so excited about Srila Prabhupada going on the parikrama that I did not feel qualified to question their judgment. I was expecting that Tamal Krishna Maharaj and Bhavananda Maharaj would do more to stop him, but they were not opposing the plan as strongly as I had hoped. Devotees were discussing the travel details with Srila Prabhupada, in Srila Prabhupada's presence. It all sounded absurd to me, really out of the question, but Prabhupada seemed content. Finally, when it was decided that Prabhupada would take rest at night in a tent under a tree, I could not contain myself. Do you know that Srila Prabhupada cannot even turn to his side? I shouted. When we are not careful enough to help him turn, he feels pain. In this condition, you want to take him on a bullock cart through all those bumpy roads full of potholes and rocks? You are planning to make him stay under a tree in a tent at night? Even in this room here, in spite of the heater and 3 blankets and a quilt, he feels cold at night. No one said a word. Then,
Okay, Hare Krishna, Prabhu, because there are many people today, so because people here. Okay, thank you, Prabhu. Okay, next we have Sham Sundari Radhika Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat.
No one said a word. Then Srila Prabhupada broke the silence. Babaji Maharaj will come in the evening. He said, I will ask him. That gave me a little hope. I would tell Babaji Maharaj about the whole situation and he would convince Prabhupada not to go. That evening, as I was waiting for Babaji Maharaja to arrive, I went to the kitchen to do something for Srila Prabhupada. When I returned to his room, I found Babaji Maharaj already there, sitting on a chair next to Prabhupada's bed, and they were happily planning the parikrama. Srila Prabhupada asked Babaji Maharaj to join him, and he agreed. Hearing that, I gave up my last hope. But then I had an idea. I went to the kitchen, made a plate of prasad, and brought it to the room next to Prabhupada's. Then I announced that I had prepared prasad for Babaji Maharaj. Prabhupada suggested that I bring it in. But when I said that it was already arranged next door, he told Maharaj to go. While Babaji Maharaj was eating, I told him about the whole situation and how when Loknath Maharaj had told Prabhupada about his visit to Badrinath, the place where Bhima had left his body, Prabhupada had suggested the bullock cart parikrama of Vrindavan. I told him that I suspected that just like the Pandavas had gone on a Mahaprasthan after they received the news of Krishna's disappearance, Srila Prabhupada was planning to leave his body doing parikrama of Vrindavan. After hearing everything, Babaji Maharaj declared, then he shouldn't go. Please tell him that I begged. Me, he replied, how can I tell him? Maharaj, I insisted, you are the only one who can stop him. I explained that we, his disciples, could not force Srila Prabhupada to change his mind, but that he would listen to his friend and godbrother. Babaji Maharaj stood up, washed his hands and mouth, and walked straight into Prabhupada's room. I've heard everything, he told him, and I don't think you should go on this parikrama. Srila Prabhupada replied, if you feel that way, then I won't. Relieved, I hurried out to inform Tamal Krishna Maharaj. As I was sprinting up the guest house stairs to his room, I ran into him and Bhavananda Maharaj coming down and explained to them that Babaji Maharaj had convinced Prabhupada not to go on the parikrama. They had just been on their way to see Prabhupada to request him not to go. Excited, we all rushed to his room. Srila Prabhupada, Tamal Krishna Maharaj said, you put us through such anxiety that we could not make out how to deal with the situation. Srila Prabhupada looked at Babaji Maharaj and told him, see how much they love me. He told Maharaj about the humiliation and distress that Bhavanand Maharaj had gone through for him in Mayapur. Babaji Maharaj replied, they are fortunate that they have a spiritual master like you. News of Srila Prabhupada's critical condition was spreading, and anticipating that Prabhupada might soon leave his body, Sriman Narayan and Ramakrishna Bajaj came to see him. They were old acquaintances, and at one point they wanted to speak with Prabhupada privately. So he suggested that the rest of us leave the room. Before leaving, however, I pressed the record button of the tape recorder on Prabhupada's bedside table. When I told Tamal Krishna Maharaj what I had done, he thanked me and said it had been a smart thing to do. When the meeting was over, I took the tape record to Maharaj's office and played it. Sriman Narayan and Ramakrishna Bajaj had asked Prabhupada about who would be his successor, and he told them that he was not going to appoint one. He was giving the legacy to all his disciples, all his followers. A few days later, in the evening, several of Srila Prabhupada's god brothers came to see him. As they sat on chairs around his bed, Prabhupada admitted that he had used strong expressions while preaching. He begged their forgiveness and requested that they ask all other Vaishnavas to forgive them as well. Srila Bon Maharaj, sitting next to Srila Prabhupada's head, told him that he had been in a position to chastise them and that there was no offense in his action. He expressed his appreciation for Srila Prabhupada's achievements in preaching around the world, fulfilling the prediction of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you.
Next we have Rashna, Rashna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Danvat Pranam. When Tamal Krishna Maharaj showed the group copies of the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Bon Maharaj, his voice ringing with appreciation, admitted that they were rich both inside and out. Inside the books were rich with the wisdom that Srila Prabhupada had presented, and outside the artwork, layout, and printing were of the highest quality. Tamal Krishna Maharaj told them how Srila Prabhupada's books had been translated into so many languages and how in Moscow the Russian government had showed his appreciation for the books in a certificate noting their contribution to peace and progress. Everyone listened with rapt attention as Maharaja described how a skyscraper in Manhattan had become a Krishna temple and how 108 temples had been established all over the world. Everyone was extremely impressed, and Srila Prabhupada then asked us to serve them prasad. After the group left, Srila Prabhupada started to experience some pain in his right thigh. It did not usually show his pain, but he was obviously suffering, and he asked me to tie some salt in a piece of cloth, heat it, and press it on the area of his discomfort. The compress brought him some relief, but it was heartbreaking for us to see him in that condition lying on his bed without saying anything. Tamal Krishna, Bhavananda, Upendra, and I all went sleepless that night. At around 5 the next morning, right after Mangla Arati, Damodar Prasad told me that Srila Prabhupada had not passed urine in 12 hours. If he did not pass urine soon, in about 14 hours, he would leave his body. He asked if he should use a catheter to help. I described the situation to Tamal Krishna Maharaj, who immediately called a meeting of the senior devotees. He told them that about Damodar Prasad's report, and also the Prabhupada had emphatically instructed that nothing should penetrate his body. No needles. Everybody agreed that a catheter should not be used. It was clear that Srila Prabhupada was about to leave his body. The doors of his room, which for months had been closed and guarded, were thrown open, and devotees streamed in. Those who could not fit stood outside the large windows next to Prabhupada's bed. Everyone was chanting. I was standing by Prabhupada's head. When from time to time he opened his mouth, I would give him a bit of water. Krishnananda Babaji Maharaj came, and we sat next to Srila Prabhupada's bed near his head. Pisima was sitting on the floor next to him. The Kirtana went on non-stop for over 12 hours. I lost track of all time and bodily needs. I just stood by Prabhupada's bed holding the small silver lota, pouring water into his mouth as he opened it from time to time. At one point, when Srila Prabhupada opened his mouth and I was about to pour a few drops of water, Babaji Maharaj commented, "See, he is still chanting." Though Prabhupada was not making any sound, I could see his tongue vibrating in rhythm. Then Damodar Prasad Shastri, who was standing next to me, said, "Srila Prabhupada had left his body." I could not yet accept that, so I said, "Please check him carefully." He could. He took a small piece of cotton cloth and placed it in the front of Prabhupada's nose. I did. It did not move. I told him to use the stethoscope, and he did, but there was no heartbeat. I was on the verge of breaking down, but Damodara Prasad placed his hand on his back and said, "Please don't cry. He's going back to Godhead. Let him go. Don't cause any hindrance to his journey back to the Lord." Everybody understood what had happened. Visima was one of the first to react. Tears started to flow from her eyes as if a water pot had broken. Manihara Dasa was sobbing, and I told him that Damodar Prasad had told me Srila Prabhupada is going back home. Let us not cause any hindrance to his journey back. The devotees kept chanting. Some left the room. The senior men got together and discussed whether or not to put Srila Prabhupada in Samadhi that night. The news came from the leading Vaishnavas of the Vrindavan that the following morning he should be taken to all the prominent temples in Vrindavan for a final darshana of the Lord. Srila Prabhupada's body was placed on his Vyasana in the temple room. Narayana Maharaj led the kirtan through the night. In the morning, we placed the body on another Vyasan and carried it in a procession to all the Vrindavan's major temples. When the procession returned to the temple, Prabhupada's body was placed next to the burial pit, which had already been dug. Narayana Maharaj guided Tamal Krishna Maharaj and me in performing all the required rituals, bathing the body and dressing it in new clothes. Narayana Maharaj himself handled the kopina, but he did not wrap it around it, drawing in and tie it at the back. I wondered how Srila Prabhupada could put into samadhi without the kaupina being properly tied, but I did not say anything. Then Tamal Krishna Maharaj and I went into the pit and Srila Prabhupada's body was lowered in. While it was being lowered, the untied kaupina was wrapped around my wrist. I quickly entangled it and tied it around Prabhupada's back. I felt that he was still there taking care of everything. Narayana Maharaj guided us through the arati, and the rest of the ceremony. Then he told us how to put salt around the body, and afterward the devotees began to put loose soil into the pit. A profound feeling prevailed in my mind. I did not want to leave Srila Prabhupada's side. I wanted to stay and continue serving him in his samadhi. When Narayana Maharaj climbed up and the devotees began pouring some soil, I did not move. But Tamal Krishna Maharaj knew what was going through my mind. He just grabbed me by my hand and dragged me out of the holy pit. Srila Prabhupada had entered into the Radha Krishna's eternal pastimes. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Now we have afterward. Who's next? Preeti, can you read? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Yes, go ahead, please.
I have to start from the afterward.
Yes, afterwards.
The afternoon after placing Srila Prabhupada's body into Samadhi, I went to his room, lost in the emptiness of his departure. I couldn't believe he wasn't there, although he always taught us that we would all have to leave the material world one day, and showed us by his personal example how we should prepare his absence was difficult to accept. I knelt by Prabhupada's bed and laid my head on his fine woolen chadar, folded on his pillow. It still bore his fragrance. Unable to control myself any longer, I broke down and cried as if my heart wanted to escape from its cage, but could only melt in a torrent of tears. I just left my agony pour out in sobs. After a while, whether minutes or hours, I had no idea, I felt a hand on my shoulder and looked up. It was Tamal Krishna Maharaj. He did not say a word, but his touch told me that he understood and shared my anguish. Several devotees had gathered in the room, and they were all looking at me. Embarrassed, I walked out with Maharaj by my side. The next day, I left for Mayapur with Jayapataka Maharaj, carrying an ornate metal container holding flowers from the Samadhi. They would be buried in a Pushp Samadhi, above which a temple would be built, where devotees and others could worship Srila Prabhupada and feel his presence. Mayapur was somewhat of a relief for me. The memories were not so fresh there, and I was surrounded by friends and godbrothers. Still, my world felt vacant. The first time I dreamt of Srila Prabhupada, the dream was so real, and although in the back of my mind I was aware he had departed, I perceived him so clearly that my heart danced with joy at being with him again. I offered my obeisances and held his lotus feet, bathing them with my tears. He lifted me up and asked whether I was chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra on my beads. Unable to speak, I remained silent. He asked me to show him my tongue. When I did, he took hold of it with his thumb and forefinger, and as the thrill of his touch ran through my entire body, he asked me, "Are you using it to chant the holy name?" I tried to say something, but he was still holding my tongue, and then my struggle to speak woke me up. With the wonderful feeling of meeting Srila Prabhupada still vivid in my mind, I sat on my bed and wondered about the meaning of the dream. What did he want to tell me? It seemed that he was reminding me that Maya would try to hold my tongue and prevent me from chanting, but that I should never stop. No matter the difficulties, I should never stop chanting the holy name. I felt immensely grateful and remembered Srila Prabhupada's assurance that although he would someday disappear from our vision, he would always be present for a while in order to lead us on to the spiritual path. He had become visible to us, and then he had left our sight to motivate us to move forward and toward the spiritual world to find him. When I had decided to join ISKCON in Mayapur in July of 1976 as a full-time devotee and shaved my head, a thought had run through my mind that my hair would grow back in 2 months, and that if I did not like being a devotee, I could return to my old life. Those 2 months have turned into 40 years, but they have flown by, and Srila Prabhupada's causeless mercy, my life has found its perfection. My realization that I am an eternal part and parcel of Krishna, and that my life's goal is to develop my loving relationship with him, is all due to the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, who took me by the hand and led me to that relationship. I know that I have found the true path to perfection, and that achieving success is only a matter of continuously moving forward without deviation. Sometime in the future, it does not matter when, I will reach my ultimate destination and once again be at the lotus feet of my beloved Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. It's a very somber ending to Ocean of Mercy. We had some devotees more today. We finished the book, and this last words which we saw here and we read, this Guru Maharaj's realization. He says, by Srila Prabhupada's causeless mercy, my life has found its perfection. And when we were reading it, I was thinking, do I think like this? That by meeting Guru Maharaj or joining ISKCON or being under the shelter of Srila Prabhupada, our founder Acharya, do I feel that my life has found its perfection? Or I am still looking for something more? And then Guru Maharaj writes, my realization that I am an eternal part and parcel of Krishna, and that my life's goal is to develop my loving relationship with him, is all due to the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. So again here, that do we realize that we are part and parcel of Krishna, that he is our real Father, and it is with whom we have our eternal relationship. And the goal of our life is to develop my loving relationship. Guru Maharaj writes, I know that I have found the true path of perfection, and that achieving success is only a matter of continuous moving forward without deviation. Sometimes in future, it does not matter when I will reach my ultimate destination and again be at the lotus feet of my beloved Srila Prabhupada. So how Guru Maharaj feels about his spiritual master, do we feel about our spiritual master? That do we have the desire, even the desire, forget the will, that this is what we want in the end. And how to see it practically also. I will show a paper. Some of you would have read it on our Sunday Goshti, but I still want to show to all of you. Just 1 second. Which will show what is the meaning of eternal relationship with our spiritual master. I'll share the paper. Those who couldn't read, now they can read. So 2 hands are up, Shashank Chaitanya Prabhu and Shivani Mataji. So Neha Kumar Mataji. Okay. It's just a small sheet I will share. Give me 1 second. So, Shashank Prabhu, you read the first para. Hare Krishna, Shashank Chaitanya Prabhu, can you hear me? He's not there. Okay. So, Shivani Mataji, next is Shivani Mataji. Shivani Mataji, read the first para.
Okay, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Pranam all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Bhakti Charu Swami. When
No,
Prabhupada
read from the top.
understanding Srila Prabhupada's mood, my spiritual master is always with me. Bhakti Charu Swami. When Prabhupada first went to Mayapur with his American disciples, they drove straight to our ISKCON land there without stopping at the Gaudiya Math, Chaitanya Math, or Bhakti Siddhant Saraswati Thakur's Samadhi. Some of the Prabhupada's God brothers commented, he did not even stop at his spiritual master's Samadhi. When Prabhupada was told that they were speaking like that, he commented, do they think that I am ever separated from my spiritual master, even for a moment? My spiritual master is always with me.
Thank you, Mataji. And I'm just skipping few devotees because we have a new devotee who has never spoken. This is Shivanand Patra. So would you like to speak, Shivanand Patra Prabhu? You raise
Yes,
your hand.
Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. Please read the second para.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Page accept.
Hare Krishna. Okay.
That is how a disciple should be conscious of his spiritual master. The spiritual master is the external manifestation of the super soul. When a devotee attains perfection, he always considers his spiritual master to be present with him by his words or of instruction. Srila Prabhupada felt that his spiritual master, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, was always seeing his activities and was guiding him within his heart by his words. Similarly, the more we become Krishna conscious, the more we make spiritual advancement. The more we will hear Srila Prabhupada's guidance, the benefit of being in ISKCON is that everywhere we can feel Srila Prabhupada's presence. We can see Prabhupada in the temple he established or inspired. In the deity worship he guided, in his books or in his followers. Everything has come from Srila Prabhupada's instructions and personal example. And that's what is protecting us from the uh, onslaughts of illusion and is pushing us towards our ultimate destination, Krishna's lotus feet. He lives forever by his divine instructions, and the followers lives within him. Srila Prabhupada's Srimad Bhagavatam dedication to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So this is how we see a disciple can be forever attached to the lotus feet of his spiritual master. It is all a matter of sambandha. So sambandha is also with Krishna. The same sambandha gyan is also with our spiritual master also. So thing is that if our prayojan is to be forever, like Guru Maharaj wrote at the end, the last line, Guru Maharaj wrote that sometime in the future, it does not matter when, I will reach my ultimate destination and once again be at the lotus feet of my beloved Srila Prabhupada. So that is a prayojan. And Abhidaya, he said, Guru Maharaj wrote, I know that I have found the true path to perfection and that achieving success is only a matter of continuously moving forward without deviation. So that is what Prabhupada also said, that kacha unripened mango and ripened mango. And he says, you stay in ISKCON and just continue your devotional service, and then one day you will become a ripened mango. So that is the Abhidaya part. And the main part is the Sambandha, that how do we feel our connection with Prabhupada, with our Guru Maharaj, with our spiritual master. And for that, the main thing is that we hear from him. That so many times we discuss that how important it is to continuously hear from him. And the usual standard given in, is that here Prabhupada lecture, number 1 priority, number 2 priority, our own spiritual master, and then hear any other lectures. Okay. So the more we hear from Guru Maharaj, the more we made down notes, the more from the note downs we see what I can imply in my life, and then I apply it finally. So the more thicker will be the sambandha. So everything is Shravanam, and we must make an endeavor to hear Guru Maharaj lectures and to do some seva, so that it's not just Shravanam, there is Kirtanam also. So like that. So we have finished. I never thought we will finish so early. And if any devotee want to share some thought or something, I am the only one who's just doing bhak. So if anybody wants to come and share how they found the book reading or anything, then please come forward or unmute yourself and you can speak.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. It was so amazing. I mean, learning about Maharaja's feelings, his relationship with Prabhupada, and everything that he experienced. I mean, just made me feel so close to Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada. And thank you so much for taking the initiative to conduct this daily. We'll miss it. I don't know if you want to read it again or something, just to keep that routine.
Yes, Madhav.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you so much. Actually, it was after hearing, that I thought that many of us are sad, and also when we heard the first news that Guru Maharaj got corona positive, and then I thought, that rather than grieving, it is better to read about him. How many days it took us? Ronnie Prabhu, do you remember how many days it took us to finish the book?
10 sessions, Prabhu. This is the 10th session.
Oh. So
10
how many
hours.
of you feel we can start it again from tomorrow and go for another 10 sessions and read the whole thing again?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare
Yes,
Krishna.
Prabhu.
Yes? Okay.
Me too. Yes.
ठीक है. So
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
as you yes, Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu. Prabhu, actually, मैं थोड़ी रियलाइजेशन बताना चाहूँगा. मैं ओशन मास्टर में एक्चुअली मैं गुरु महाराज के मीडिया टीम में नॉर्मली वीडियो एडिटिंग का काम करता हूँ और करीबन 2 इयर्स हो गए मैं इसमें एंगेज हूँ. तो एक्चुअली गुरु महाराज से तो मैं पर्सनली उतना कभी मिलना मेरा हुआ नहीं, बट उनके वीडियोस बनाते बनाते मुझे उनको थोड़ी अटैचमेंट हो गई. लास्ट 2015 में मैं टच में आया इस्कॉन के मेरे कॉलेज टाइम पे इंजीनियरिंग में पढ़ाई करता था, तब मैंने टच में आया था बड़ौदा कैंपस से. तो मैं 2018 से वीडियो बनाना स्टार्ट किया था. और आज जो हमने पढ़ा कि गुरु महाराज जो मेरे से पहले जो माता जी ने पढ़ा, उन्होंने एक लाइन कहा कि गुरु महाराज ने ऐसा लिखा है कि जो श्रीला प्रभुपाद जी जब अपने गुरु महाराज के समाधि स्थान पर गए थे और रुके नहीं थे, तो उसी के ऊपर सबसे पहला वीडियो बना था, आई वॉज नेवर एलोन. तो वो वीडियो जो है सबसे पहला मेरा वीडियो जो था उसी के ऊपर मैंने बनाए थे. मुझे पहले बार वो वीडियो मिला था बनाने के लिए. तो मैं तब उतना मैं सीरियस नहीं था इस मामले में. मैं नॉर्मली क्योंकि वीडियो एडिटिंग के मूड में रहता था तो मैं बनाता था. तो अभी मैं पढ़ा जब ओशन से तो समझ सकते हैं कि गुरु महाराज जी अपने श्रीला प्रभुपाद के प्रति कितनी फीलिंग्स होती है. एक्चुअली मुझे बोलने में थोड़ी दिक्कत हो रही है, लेकिन समझ सकते हैं कि गुरु महाराज के किस तरह से अपने स्पिरिचुअल मास्टर के प्रति फीलिंग्स होती है. तो मेरी इच्छा है कि अगर कंटिन्यू रखेगा तो और अच्छा है. थैंक यू सो मच ब्रो, क्योंकि मैंने ऑस्ट्रेलियन नंबर से कभी पढ़ने का मुझे मौका नहीं मिला, लेकिन मुझे पहली बार मैं एक्चुअली बहुत कोशिश करता था कि मैं पढूं इसको, लेकिन कभी ऐसा हो ही नहीं पाया इंग्लिश में मैं पढ़ पाऊँ. लेकिन मुझे मौका मिला कि मैं अभी इसको पढ़ पाया आपकी तरफ से. थैंक यू सो मच.
थैंक यू प्रभु जी. और आप लिंक रोनी प्रभु अपना गिव हिम योर नंबर, और वो जो लिंक था जो आपने पहला वीडियो बनाया था गुरु महाराज का, आई वाज नेवर अलोन, वो भी शेयर कर दीजिए. वी विल शेयर विद एवरीबॉडी also.
Yes, yes, sir.
Ronnie Prabhu, give him your number. So thank you so much, devotees. 7 baj gaye. We finished, and Krishna willing, then from tomorrow we will restart Ocean of Mercy. So we'll end the session now. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Dev Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshatari जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. श्री हरे कृष्ण.